How y'all doing? Oh, back here again. Oh my god, y'all. This shit actually works. You're probably like, what the hell is he talking about? So, if you saw my last video, you will see that I was implementing a package with my Golang project to basically take a representation of like an animation happening in an FFmpeg filter and wrapping it in an easing function. If you don't know what an easing function is essentially like a mathematical formula that, given an animation that progresses from 0% to 1%, it changes at the rate, it changes what the rate is that changes. Normally when a like animation happens, it's linear, it just kind of happens at the same rate the whole time. But an easing function changes it so that maybe it starts off slower and then it speeds up through the rest of the way, or vice versa. It goes like a lot of it at first and then slows down. You know what I'm talking about if you've done messed around with like CSS transitions and stuff at all. Because I think some of the default ways you can change the timing of the animation. There's a couple keywords. Like one is actually called ease in and ease out. Those are easing functions. Um, and I actually managed to get this to wrap successfully, and it does actually change the animation. It's harder to tell because the only thing I can use it with right now is the having the text fade in and fade out. But there is a noticeable difference, and I'm going to show you all that right now. Before we get started, if you're enjoying the content, be sure to drop me a like, subscribe, and with that, let me show you the goods. So this is my FFmpeg sub package in my main easing function package. And you'll see I kind of went over this briefly in my video about the easing functions. Excuse me. And you'll notice that all these things do is you give it a string and it wraps that string essentially in these mathematical equations. Excuse me, I'm so gassy. What the hell? And I haven't implemented all of these yet. There's still, I think I only implemented like half of them, but I did implement at least up to a point where there'd be a more noticeable difference. So I think the one I tried, I went ahead and rendered out two versions of the same video with the text being drawn on. One where the change is like linear, so like it fades in and fades out at the same rate. But then I have one where I use this ease in out port easing function. And I think if I recall correctly, what this does is it like eases in, kind of, it like slowly eases in and does a whole lot, then kind of eases back out. And you'll notice that the time for it to fade in is a lot different. And let me show you how this is being used. So if I go to where am I at? If I go to draw text and we look at drawtext.go, so if we go up top here, you'll see these are the expressions that the draw text filter uses to basically track the progress of the fade in and fade out animations. And you'll see I've added an extra option here, an extra parameter called fade ease. And it's just a word, a string representing what easing function I want to use. And you will saw back in that other package there was a function there called func from string. And what I do is I pass into it whatever easing function I said I wanted to use, and it returns a reference to that function for me to call. And it's used in the build filter, is that called? Yeah. So you'll see here in this thing where I'm doing the fade in, first thing it does is try to get the easing function from the FFmpeg sub package. If there was an error, which means you gave like an invalid easing function name, it gives you like a warning, and then it defaults back to the linear one, which is just, it doesn't change anything. And then I pass that in to what is it? This fade expression. So this is where I actually like build the fade expression, and you'll see here where I normally had these things, the fade in and fade out expressions. Now they're being wrapped in these easing functions. calls, which will basically modify the rate at which the animation is done. And let's see if I show you how it's being actually used. So you see here, there's a this is that new option called fade ease. The default's to linear. And this is a type of easing function to apply to the fade in effect. Default is linear. And I think that's all that does. Yeah. So I'm going to run this. Let's our audio. So I'm going to show you the video too, but see, I'll do the first one. So starting at 1 second in, it's going to start fading in, and the fade in is supposed to last 6 seconds, and then it stops displaying the text at 10 seconds. And now I'm not going to give it a fading, an easing function. So this one will be linear. You will notice that the rate that it changes will be the same. Let me move my head out of the way. Run. So you see it very slowly fade in because it's fading in fully over 6 seconds, and it goes away. So now let's compare that if I do the ease in out port. So what this should do is you'll notice that it doesn't slowly fade in over the entire 6 seconds. There will be like a jump where it's suddenly more opaque than what it was. So let's run this. And yeah, you see how it almost all kind of faded in within a certain time span? We can try this with different varieties. So let's try the ease out port. I guess what it is. Yeah. Got this one. Yeah, see, you notice how it's almost all faded already, because the ease out, the curve of the change over time is so if this is the progress and this is the time, when you just barely start moving, it kind of exponentially increases for a minute, for just a second, and then it kind of levels out. That's why it faded in so much so fast. The other way, if I did ease in port, this one doesn't do much at the start, and then suddenly the rest of it completes within the last part of it. So let's try this one. So it's takes a long time, and then it kind of suddenly fades in all at once. So, and then you can even see the output of the command being generated here. This was the one. Okay, so this is the one where there was no function wrapping it, and you'll see, where is it? It's right. It's hard to find. It's hard to read this shit. Where is a? Okay, so this is essentially the expression that's tracking the fade in progress. Now you'll see that this one, I think it's this one. Yes. You see how this one is wrapped in this big in this big equation. Yeah, see. It's kind of wrapped in this big, because the ease in and out, there's actually an if statement there that changes which math equation it's using at one point. That's why it's it went from a pretty short expression to oh my dear God, what the hell is all this stuff here? Yeah, this whole thing here. Let me see where I'm stopping at. I think, yeah, this whole thing, that entire thing is now the expression tracking the fade in progress of the animation. That's pretty cool. It'll be much more noticeable whenever I implement the capability for that package to do the to dynamically do the positioning. So if it slides in, I already have the easing functions. Yeah, the theory of this already works. It'll just be a matter of plugging it into whatever expression is generating the value for the text positioning, and ta-da, we will have moving text animations, fading in and out text animations. I need to see if you can do things with orientation. I don't think you can. I could be wrong. You can't do it straightforward. You have to do some weird shit where you you render the stream with the text on it, and then you use another filter to into its own stream with a opaque background, and then you like rotate it with another filter and then overlay. It might be a little more trouble than what it's worth. But yeah, there you go. I actually managed to get that shit working. It actually replaces the base fade in expression with one wrapped in a damn easing function that changes how it behaves. Cool shit. So that's all I got for you today. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe. If you have questions about what the actual shit I'm doing with this, leave me a comment down below and I will answer you. If you would like to follow me on other social media. If you also, I have links down below. I have these videos, they're on BitTube, and I was starting to upload all of my old videos onto BitChute as well, so you can check that. If I get to the subscriber limit that you need to get to, I plan on also mirroring it all to library, so I just need like 7 more, just 7 more, and they'll be like, yay, just mirror it over, yay. If you would like to support me, I love you so much. There's some links down below to do that as well. And with that, y'all come on back now. I'll see you next time.